Well, hello everybody. Time for another update on my beets. It's May the 1st today, and if you've been following, this is part 5, I believe. Anyway, I'll have a script there that you can see what exactly it was. It's either 4 or 5. I think this is part 5 of how these beets are coming along. And for those of you who are interested, there is you can go back in this series and see where I planted them and how I planted them, and how easy it is to do. Now, my goal with these beets is to have a lot of them to eat into the winter and put into storage, or just leave right here in storage, because beets are very, very nutritious, and you know, I like the flavor. My wife and I, we just love beets. That didn't always used to be that way. When I was a kid, you know, or when I was younger, let's say, I was hamburgers, French fries, and all kinds of unhealthy things to eat. Let's put it that way. Now, I had a little heart episode about 15 years ago, and I wised up back then that I am not invincible, and I've got to take care of my health. And so one of the things I did, I lost weight. I lost about 100 pounds, and I've still kept it off, and I've exercised and done all the right things, and basically got everything all straightened out. But one of the things that happened along the way is that, you know, things like beets, they're the kind of things that your mom makes you eat. And you go, I don't like beets. And, you know, cauliflower, you know. But, you know, since I started eating these kind of things intentionally, I don't know, it's like getting an acquired taste for coffee, I think. I don't drink coffee, but I've heard that it's an acquired taste. But this is an acquired taste, I guess, because I just love the way they taste now, especially when you cook them, microwave them, and put a little bit of olive oil on them and a little bit of spices, and boy, absolutely delicious. And they're full of vitamins and minerals and all kinds of things that I won't go into now. But anyway, so what I've got here, if I've counted right, there's about 20 or 25 in each of these grow bins, and that makes somewhere between 90 and 100 plants. Now, if I get, just to make the numbers easy, let's say there's 100 plants. Well, you get a good-sized beet in the grocery store at the produce rack. What is that? Oh, I don't know, 2 pounds, pound and a half? We'll call it 2 pounds because, you know, that's pretty good. So what do I got here? 200 pounds of beets? Maybe 150? I mean, this is well worth it. So anyway, let's get on with how they're doing today. Like I say, it's May 1st, and let me go get the camera and bring you in for a close-up to see how well these have done. Okay, now these all looked pretty much the same. I mean, all these bins, but take a look here closer. Now these on this end aren't as tall as those on that end. Now I'm not sure why, but they're all getting plenty of water. But look at that. Look at all that. Look at how nice they're growing. Now I think it'll take another month maybe before there's enough here to actually harvest. But look at the size of those things. Now even here, see, if you dig down right in here, you can see that there's definitely bulbs forming. See that? I don't know if that shows up very well, but there's bulbs forming. Their weight is too small to eat, but they're still growing well. Now here we go on this side, and so this is great. I can hardly wait to eat these. Let me show you something else on this side of the other side here in the aquaponic setup. Now when I was setting this, setting up these plants, you know, setting up those beets to be planted over there when they were little, there were a few beets that were, you know, about that size. And what I did was I took a couple of them, course, this is one of them, but they were a lot smaller. That one was a lot smaller. But here's one that was about the size of this one at the time. And you see how it's grown. So this is aquaponic. See, there's the water down there with all the duckweed all over it. But it's grown. It's gotten to the point where the way I work this is I have to lift it up every day, because what happens is this is going to get fatter and fatter, and pretty soon, you know, it's going to outgrow that pot. So what I'm going to do is move it right now to a bigger pot. And that one is right over here. Let's go over here and see where it is. Aha, here we go. Now this is a 3-inch grow pot and net cup. And I think that's what they're properly called. And I'll pull one out. See, they're like that. They're 3 inches tall or around. I can't remember why they're defined as 3 inches, but this is obviously a lot bigger, and this one's got a lot of room to grow. Now, when this one gets big enough, I'm being optimistic here, when it gets big enough that it starts to crowd out this cup, you know, that's ready to eat. So, and I did this one time last year, and it worked. So what I'm going to try to do here is grow some of these in here and get some bigger beets. Now let me show you something else here. All right, now remember this? This is that pan that I originally pulled these beets out of, that grew into those nice beets over there in the grow beds. Now they're still alive here because there's just too many of them to use. Matter of fact, let me give a little water right now. So what I was planning or thinking about doing is taking these, as big as they are, and planting them into the grow beds over here in the smaller cups, and just see if I can get them to grow. Now that's very, very tiny, so you know, but maybe I can get them to grow in the grow beds over there. Let's see here. Let's sacrifice one more. Let's see. Sacrifice one more. Now see, this one's a little more substantial. Let's rinse that off. This one's a little more substantial. So this one, let's take it over here. Well, let's see. I might be able to put this where that other one was. See, now, as long as I can get it in there, like that, and not let it sink to the bottom. Let me show you how big this is. See, it's just that big. So if you get it in here and let it sink to the bottom of the cup, or maybe I can put a little bit of perlite in the cup or something to hold it up, but let it grow in there. It'll probably grow well, and then I can have aquaponic beets. Now I'll take this one here, and I'll leave it in here for now because it's not nearly big enough. But you see, that's the idea, is aquaponic beets. Now how many of those would I have if I grew them here? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and by 3, there's 21 right there. Anyway, that's an interesting thought, isn't it? Well, anyway, okay, that's the update on the beets for today, and I'm looking forward to a good harvest. Well, here, wait a minute, look at this. There's one that I actually did put in here, and there's another one, and you can see they're not dead. They were put in here like yesterday or the day before. I can't remember exactly when, but see, they are recovering and they are sprouting roots. Man, it's too early to see anything here yet. But so once these things recover from the transplant, let's see here. Yeah, I can't see nothing. Oh, wait a minute. Thought there was a root sticking out of there, but not. Once these recover from the transplant, I think they'll do fine. Well, anyway, that's the plan, is I'll fill these up with beets.